Faction Wars is live. Today is such a good day. This is a huge update that we've been waiting for so long. Welcome to the channel. I'm super happy to have you here. I'm happy to talk about this topic today. I am B-Hub. Let's hop right into this. We're going to talk about Faction Wars, but before we do, I have one quick tip because I did this today, and I want to prevent you from doing this, just be aware of this. Look, if you click on your gear here, and you click on the remove button, do not click this destroy button if it's a piece of gear that you want. There is no like, hey, are you sure that you want to destroy or anything like that. It doesn't exist, so be careful with that button. But now let's get right into it. Faction Wars is out. Long anticipated, highly demanded, new aspect of the game. So let's talk about it. First off, if you don't know, a faction is one of these. If you click on your index, you have these. Every single hero in this game belongs to a specific faction. Now, Faction Wars is a new dungeon style type of play. This tab that we've been waiting for it to open for so long. You click on Faction Wars. Now, here's how this works. Each day, two different crypts open. You click on that crypt, and then you can battle. You can only use characters from that specific faction. You get 5 of them. 5 characters from that specific faction. So right here, here's my high elves. These are the best that I have. I mean, seriously, these are the best ones that I have. And I got some good ones though. Tyrell and Apothecary carry me through. But this is how this works. So you're going to need a lot of different heroes now. That's what's been making this so like heavily anticipated, and really what this game has been needing. Now everything is going to be different. Now characters that you never ever would have considered investing some time into now have a reason for you to invest time into. Things are going to get way more diverse. There's going to be a lot of different stuff that you're going to need. I mean, this just added hours and hours and hours to the in-game content of this game. It's going to be crazy. So here's one thing that I want to point out that I think is really cool. The same way in campaign, you can earn stars as you progress through the different stages. So down here at the bottom, you can collect the rewards for having a certain number of stars. Now check this out. Here's how this works. If you get one, you get 1 star if you clear the stage, 2 if you clear it with 3 champions without losing one, and 3 stars if you do 5 champions without losing a single champ. Now the cool thing is as far as raid goes, these rewards are pretty awesome. You can kind of go through and you can scroll through and check these rewards out. But I mean, look at this. Even right here on the 3rd level, epic, legendary tomes, void shards, and then it just gets better from there until you get 3 sacred shards here at the end, which will take you a while to get there because this is going to be difficult, but it's also going to be a lot of fun in doing it. So I'm really excited for this new update, this new event. I think it's going to add some really good stuff to the game. Let's actually talk about how it works though. So the first thing that I want to talk about is Crypt Keys. And while I do that, here's what I want to do. I'm going to pull up some footage of earlier today, and we're just going to, you can watch this and check it out. So I'll show you my high elf footage right here. With the high elves, I have a pretty decent team. I have Tyrell and Apothecary, as I said. Now here's how this works. Obviously you need to select your team, but you have 12 Crypt Keys, as you can see right here. This is pretty cool. It's a new system of energy in the game, so you don't have to pull from your existing energy and have a whole nother thing for you to invest in, right? Energy already is used for enough in this game, between Minotaur, dungeons, campaign, all of that. So you have 12 Crypt Keys. The way that it works is each day you will get 12 keys per crypt. So 12 for one and 12 for the other. That's pretty cool, but I know a lot of you are like, man, I want to play more than that. I want to do more keys. Why can't I refresh them? Why can't I, pay gems and get some new ones? And I think that that's a pretty good idea that they don't have that yet. My bet is that they'll have that eventually, but I don't think that they should have it just yet. I think it's good that we kind of get to, put our toe in the water, and they're going to ease us into Faction Wars. Because the truth is, if you could refresh the Crypt Keys right now, then people who spend a ton of money on this game, aka whales, they would power straight through these crypts. They would get to the bottom way before the rest of us can, and they would have amazing glyphs, and they would increase like their gear, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But man, things would change really quickly. and the people who could spend a lot of money would be well ahead of the rest of us. So I think it's cool. At this rate, we get to all progress together for the time being. We get to kind of ease into this because it's going to be a while before anybody actually makes it down to the bottom. So that's the way the Crypt Keys work. They don't refill during the day. They don't refill over time. And as of right now, you cannot pay to refill them. So you only get 12, and you'll see kind of how that works as you're watching this run through. As you get higher in the levels, it requires more keys to battle. But that's fine. That's cool. I'm just happy that there's a new mode out and a lot of new challenges available for Raid. So as you progress in this, you're going to get these things called Glyphs, which we'll talk about in a second. But real quick, I want to talk about what are you actually facing in this. As far as I can tell, each crypt in each level 1 through 6 is the same fight. So that's pretty important to take note of. 1 through 6 is the same. And then for the bosses, there appears to be 2 different bosses for the level 7 bosses. So I've played through 4 crypts already, and 2 of them have the same boss, and the other 2 have the same boss. Level 1 through 6 was the same for all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward on this video, and we're going to talk about these bosses. So we go through here. This boss seems to be the easier of the bosses. I'm not sure at this moment whether it's easier because I have better heroes for the 2 that I fought with this boss, which I definitely do. Like my heroes for this boss fight are way better than the other one that I'll show you next. But check it out. Here's what this boss does. Meddle with Fate. Exchanges remaining HP levels with a target enemy. So it can swap out HP with you. It's a pretty interesting ability. I don't think it's going to be super high impact because like you should be able to kill one of your heroes. And it has a 12 turn cooldown on it. So he's only really going to be able to do this once. Now, the second ability is what this boss fight is completely built around. It's called Mirror Universe. It does this. Attacks all enemies. It steals all of the buffs. And then all of the debuffs that the boss has on it, it tries to transfer to your team. It'll transfer it to a specific enemy, and then it does this thing called debuff spread, where it tries to spread it to all of your champions. This is really what this fight is built around, is this buff stealing and debuff placing kind of aspect. Now here's the interesting thing about this, is you can resist this attack. So as this fight goes on, you can kind of see this, I think, but you can resist it stealing your debuffs, and you can also resist it placing the debuffs on your entire team. So to go into this fight, if you're struggling with it, a good piece of advice is get a little bit more of resistance on your characters so that they can resist the debuffs being stolen and the debuffs being placed on them. I think that'll really help you out a lot in this fight. Now the other ability that it has, it's A1, is it's going to place a 25% fear, or a 25% chance, sorry, to place the fear on one of your characters. And that percent chance increases for every buff that the boss has on it. So if it steals your buffs, it's going to get a stronger A1 attack. But as you can see with this fight was pretty easy for me. Apothecary is going to heal up my level 40, and we'll actually end this fight with all of my champions alive and well, getting the 3 stars on this fight. So as far as I can tell, this one's a little bit easier. We'll fast forward it to the end. We down the boss. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Now the other boss fight, I've been finding to be a lot harder. I'll show it to you on my Knight Reverend run. Now my Knight Reverend, I used basically Skull Crown is what got me through this entire fight, and I kind of got lucky on the boss. Skull Crown just did this through all level 1 through 6. It just wiped everything because Skull Crown is an amazing farmer. But let's get to this boss and actually see what this thing does. So look at this first attack. That says A2, and this is what it does. So we'll do, okay, A3 first. Fills the champion's turn meter by 2% for every 1% HP they lose when they are attacked. And this is counted from the damage taken per hit. So this thing is going to fill its turn meter, which is really, really annoying. It's just going to go more often. Here's the A2, which you saw a second ago. It removes all debuffs, which that's already pretty strong, right? Debuffing a boss is a good way to deal damage to it, and it has the opportunity to remove its own debuffs. Now, this is what it does. It places True Fear on one random enemy, and anyone who did not get that True Fear, all of them get stunned for a turn, and this cannot be resisted, and it grants an extra turn. this is really strong. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, and remember, 1 entire turn of that you are going to spend stunned. So this is just a really, really powerful ability. It has the ability to fill its turn meter, to stun you, and stun you frequently. And then the A1 is really powerful as well. It really just kind of hits like a truck. It hits one enemy, and it will ignore your defense. So as you can see here, really what I'm hoping for in this fight is I'm hoping that Skullcrown does not get True Feared, because I don't want its thing to go on cooldown, even though I think we probably could have won without it. And as you can see, it appears to be, from what I can tell, that the boss works from the weakest heroes up to the strongest heroes. I might be wrong on that, but it kind of seems to be the case. Working from the weakest to the strongest. So my Skullcrown is going to get targeted by the A1 last, which is what allows me to last in this fight and to win it. But it's a pretty crazy fight. Skullcrown obviously put in all of the work there to be able to do that. Now, to put this in perspective, I'll show you the Barbarian run that I had with this. For my Barbarians, I can't beat this fight with my Barbarians, but my Barbarians are a significantly weaker team. I have 4 4-star level 40s and 1 5-star level 50, and they are just not able to win this. You get stunned and you just get worked, and just attack by attack, this boss just starts to drop everybody. Just one by one, they go down. But there you go. Those are your 2 boss fights to prepare for. I'll try and find a way, you know, what's the best way to combat this boss as I get more opportunities to fight it in the future. But there's your run through on what you're actually looking for there. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is what are we actually fighting for when we do this. We're fighting for these things called Glyphs. These are what is going to help upgrade our heroes and upgrade our gear. So let's click on champions, and I'll show you what I actually know about Glyphs so far. So Glyphs have the ability to boost the substat on your items. So you'll get these glyphs, and there's a glyph for every single one of the substats, right? So you click here, this is your glyph tab. HP percentage, attack, defense percentage, defense. There's a glyph for every single one of these, and all of them can drop from each different crypt. So that's something to take note of. You can get all of them from any of the crypts, so you don't have to worry about that. So here's what you have to do. You click on a specific piece of gear, and then you can upgrade it, and now there's a new enchant button that you have. You click enchant, and you have the ability to upgrade this gear. So here's what we know from this is one, you can, like, I used a level 1 HP percentage on this thing, but I can go back over, I can re-enchant it with a 3-star glyph to attempt to get more. So the 3-star glyph, you have an opportunity to get 1 to 3% extra, and that'll go up as you get higher star glyphs. So you'll have the opportunity to get the high roll, but you can still get the low roll. So you're going to probably need more than one of these glyphs. But from what it seems, you can overwrite the previous one. So if you get a low roll, you can re-roll again for a higher one. Now the other thing that we know is, look at this. You can also enchant multiple of the substats. As of right now, I'm not sure how many. I assume you can do all 4, but I'm not positive. But you can enchant multiple substats on a piece of gear. And that's really what this is going to do. This is going to increase these substats, which is honestly going to drastically increase the power level of your champions. This is not a small thing. This is huge. This is going to make a giant difference in the game and make a lot of things more viable. And I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But really, what do we know about Faction Wars right now? I know that it's going to be difficult. I know that it's going to take a lot of time, and I know that it's going to be a lot of fun because it's a brand new challenge to the game. I'm really excited for it. I hope that you're really excited for it too. I'm pretty sure that's everything that I have to say right now about Faction Wars. So if you enjoyed this video, thank you. If you have any other questions, comment them below. I'd be happy to answer them. Make sure to hit like and hit subscribe if you got something out of this. And thank you so much. I can't wait to see what the future holds for us. Until next time, peace out. Thanks.